The fifth is to learn to value, respect difference, to learn to value and respect difference in yourself and in others. And this was a hard lesson for me because, man, when I was a child, I was so different from my brother. I was the youngest of 4 kids. My brother was 2 years older than me. And, he was into war and army and, it's just all this aggressive energy. And I wanted to paint and draw and create. And so he would tease me and humiliate me. And I was like, what's wrong with me? And little kids, you don't question, right? When you're little and you're 4 or 5 years old and your brother is berating you and judging you and humiliating you and beating you up all the time, you're like, God, there must be something really flawed and defective with me. And so it was painful. But looking back, I realized I allowed that reality, my soul did, because it started me on a journey of trying to figure out myself, to look at my mind and to study psychology and study all that I've done and all my spiritual growth and metaphysics that I've done. I started that at a very early age. When I was 16, 17, I was going to the library, reading books and trying to figure myself out so I could be enough. And then I realized one day I was never broken. But all the knowledge that I gained, and I see all the other people out there that aren't broken, but they're different. And we live in a world that says we all have to be the same. I should be just like my brother. All the sisters should think and be alike. Life, look at our culture. Look at the wars. It's all about everyone should pray alike. Everybody should think alike. Everybody should have this, but we're different and we're unique. And when you can learn to value and respect difference in yourself and in others, you will live a life without regret. You will stop competing and comparing because you'll know that you're valuable. And the true meaning of the word competition is not negative. Competition's a beautiful thing when it's not given to your ego. Because the word competition, back in the in the Greek days when the Olympics were starting out in Greece, and they were the men I don't know if they had women back there challenging in the Olympics, probably not, but the men were challenging and competing with each other because competition means to draw out, to pull out, and petition is someone's strength. To draw out each other's strength is what it means to compete. When I play tennis, and I love to play tennis, I love to compete with somebody who's better than me because it draws out my strength. It challenges me to become more. And that's what competition needs to be. But in our world of twisted, chauvinistic, masculine energy, it has become twisted and distorted to be winning at all costs and beating the person to a pulp. And it becomes this hostile, aggressive energy that it's not good enough. I've got to beat everybody. I've got to be the top dog. I've got to climb to the top. It doesn't matter what I've learned and how I've challenged myself and how much I've grown. I'm not at the top yet. You don't value the journey to the top. And that's what true competition was, is that, I lost that tennis game with this person who was better than me, but man, I played some shots that I never thought I would be able to do. And they helped draw this out in me because I competed with somebody that was more than me in the game of tennis. And I can feel good about myself even though I didn't win. That's true competition. And so learning to value, respect difference in others, it allows you to stop the old competition of beating and to draw out your strengths, and also to stop comparing yourself with others. You are unique. And that's what I learned, that I felt different, and it was my greatest source in my childhood of my pain, in my humiliation, was being different and feeling different. And then one day I woke up and realized, Michaiel, maybe I felt this way my whole life because I'm here to make a difference. And that's when I stepped out of that ego of not being good enough and stood in the spiritual adult and started to own the value of being different and being myself and seeing the beauty and uniqueness within me and how I can help others and have helped others over the years. So that is when you turn a liability into an asset. And had I not gone through this journey and discovered that truth and stayed in my ego's games, I would have lived a life with lots of regrets. But I chose a spiritual path at a very early age to understand through my metaphysical journey of being different and being very sensitive and tuned in and psychic to some degree growing up. I knew I was different and I didn't understand it. So I learned about it and I started to understand. Again, I loved myself enough to pay attention and to seek to understand myself. That's what love does. And that is the fifth secret to living a life that is worth living, and to, at the end of your life, to have a life without regrets.